pitcher that's going to be in this game and be able to get enough velocity to have it do anything. So if it hits your player, they're out. Now, here's the key. Your player doesn't leave until a line judge tells them to leave, because we're looking for legal throws. A legal throw is both feet behind the line. Most of your kids, it sounds terrible, they put their foot over the line. Half the throws are not legal throws. So be reminding your kids, as line judges and circuit workers, we can't tell your kids, well, be behind the line. But you're standing right here, behind your kids that are here, so you can just keep saying, be behind the line, be behind the line, be behind the line. They can hear you. They're only 5, 6 feet away from you, all right? So just keep yelling instructions to them, because this is what we always had the kids stepping over, throwing it, and then the kid gets hit by that not a legal throw, and then they end up leaving the circle, and we've got to keep track. So if you could just remind your kids to be behind the line when they throw, we'll be pretty good. Yes?
Is it the first hit counts if it hits 2 kids?
If it hits him, hits the floor, hits the other kid, and the other kid goes like that and kicks it, all 3 of you are out.
Well, I understand the kicking part.
No, if it touches that.
If it touches you, you're out.
Any way, shape,
Any way, shape, or form.
You.
Any kid that's in the middle, if they touch that thing, they're out.
They run across the
They
circle.
go over here and they go, oh, here, and they hand it to the kid on the outside, they're out.
I've seen
Okay.
it.
All right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it happens. I've seen kids go out there and kick the thing. And
Into somebody. It's still a live ball.
I tell you, they're running around like, you know, lemmings or crazy people out there. It really doesn't work. I mean, your kids, if you want to do it to make sure your kids have fun, go for it. But it's really not to any great advantage to them, you know, spinning around the middle. Although we do ask that when they finish the game, all right, when the game ends, all right, everybody that's there, that's in, stays in the middle, because we have to count them. Because a lot of times they're already running off, and we're having to get the kid that was hit by a non-legit throw and get him back in the middle. So we're trying to count them, and sometimes they're spinning around. And if they're spinning around also before the game, we have to count them. We have to make sure that you really have 10 kids in the middle, and you're not putting 12 out there by accident. Because sometimes it happens. I don't think you do it on purpose, but sometimes the kids that are supposed to be sitting are so excited they want to run out there. Now, if on the throwing part, you want to put all 12 of your kids out there throwing part, I got no qualms with that. Put them out there. The more the merrier.
Okay.
You got a question? Nope. All right. We good on this one?
I did see the rule book. It said they can't step out. If they are a rabbit, they're not supposed to step outside the circle because they're disqualified then. And even if they're not.
I've never seen that happen, though.
I have seen this where this is the circle, all right, and this is the playing area. I've seen one little boy stand like this with another team here and just stand there like that. And I know exactly what he's doing. He's just holding still, and the kids get him. The ball right here, and doesn't even throw it at him. So, and he's looking at me like, "You're not going to say anything."
I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. If a kid outsmarts the game, we sit there and go.
So anyway, all right, so now we got the train, all right, and the train is you're running with a pool noodle, all right. It's this little foam thing. We used to have the kids kind of hang on to one another. We tried to do it with a towel or something one year. All right, so we got the pool noodle. They're lined up like this, all right? The judge is going to stand here, and they're going to run with your kids in the middle, all right? And they're basically, if your kids let go of the noodle or something like that, they're going to say, wait, stop them, get everybody grabbing the noodle, and then they take off again, all right? So, Division 2 heats, Division 1, or Division 4, 1 heat, all right? Boys and girls again, all right? The person going in for the pin is that caboose, all right? So we do ask if it's supposed to be girls out there, and you got girls and boys, at least make sure the last person's a girl. Same thing with the safari, you know, with the stuffed animals, okay? Comes apart, you got to restart. It works a lot better with the line judge running around the middle to keep things moving along, keep them all together. Any questions on this one? No? All right. We are flying along because we are on the last event. All right, so balloon pop, all right? You got all your kids lined up here, all right? The last kid on this line or in front of it, but not over here, all right? The balloon goes through everybody's legs. It starts with the first kid, both hands holding it like this. Pass it through the legs. The balloon breaks somewhere along the middle. The line judge has got an extra balloon. They instantly shove the balloon into the middle at the point where the break occurred, and the balloon keeps getting passed along. If your team accidentally breaks the second balloon before the end of the game, you're out. All right, we don't have a third balloon ready. All right. So the last person gets the balloon. All right. Now they're supposed to, according to the rules, bust it in that little triangle. Okay. Make every effort to have them learn to do it that way. But sometimes it ends up over here. Sometimes they end up over here. It's not the end of the world. Okay. But try to get them close to that triangle when they're breaking it. I will give you a big hint. All right. Don't let your kids set the balloon on the floor and do one of these, okay? It looks spectacular, but most of the time, as they're coming down, they're creating a little wind and the balloon blows away, and all they do is they crack their backside. And you go, oh, as the line judge, that had to have hurt. And then they do it again, okay? So, hold on to the balloon, have them hold on the balloon when they sit on it, okay? Now, these balloons are blown up big. All right, so that they're weak. If it's balloon relay that we do in Trek and Journey and TNT, the balloons are small because we really want them to be able to put their fingers into the balloon and grab a hold of it and not have it break. These ones, it's the same size balloon. We just put a lot of air in it. Okay, so when you're down there, don't have them like that and jam their thumb in it. I mean, technically, they're supposed to sit on it and break it. Now, if they're sitting on it and they squeeze with their hands and they kind of push in, I'm okay with it. But if I see a kid take their thumb and go, you know, and do it that way, and that's how they're breaking it, and they're not even sitting on it, okay, they're not playing in the spirit of the game.
So, how large is the balloon? Is it
It's a
It's a
nice,
All
9-inch
we're gonna be the
balloon,
same
it's
size.
pinned about 12.
Yeah, we blow it up big,
About
okay?
12.
It's not like, you know, a beach ball,
No.
okay? But it's a good sized balloon.
12 inch or whatever?
Ish.
It's about 12 inches. No,
Okay.
all the balloons for all the teams are gonna be the same size, and they'll probably be the same color, only because sometimes, for some unbeknown reason, the batches were different. So like a red balloon might be weaker than a blue balloon, that kind of stuff. So we try to make it so they're the same color. But as judges, we're going to be sitting around when they're like, you know, and blowing them all up to the same size. So every team's going to have their balloons the same size. That make sense? All right. So they start with it behind the head. They pop it in that area. There's two heats, boy and a girl. Okay.
Girl and boy.
Girl,
boy.
girl and boy.
Everybody doesn't have to touch the balloon?
Nope.
Okay.
Just got to go between your legs.
Okay. Just making sure.
It actually works better if they don't all touch it. All right, so after the actual games portion happens, we have a message. We ask that your kids stay on the floor. It's not bathroom break time, okay? We don't want the kids leaving the floor for bathroom because we don't want to distract from the gospel message. So there's going to be a short gospel message, age appropriate, but really it's not geared towards the kids. That's your job on a club night, okay? It's geared towards parents, all right? Moms and dads who don't know Jesus, all right? So we have that brief message. Then it's an offering that's taken, and then it's back on the lines, and we announce the winners, okay? Again, everybody gets the little thing, and the winning team gets a plaque. Little, you know, that.
Cash.
You got it. All right. Any questions about anything? Because I think we hit it all.
We had one question in the car.
You guys were
Have you guys
fantastic.
ever done Sparky Bowl?
No,
Yes.
we've not done Sparky Bowl.
I said
We did
no years-
1 year.
We did one
You
year?
did.
Okay.
And why?
Why did they do it, or why don't we do it?
Why would it have happened? Because it's always been an option.
Well, I don't remember it happening, so.
I mean, I think we did it at it was at another area, and the reason that we didn't do it again, I just went there going, life's just too short for me to sit here for 4 hours while they try to figure this.
There are
When we
certain.
go like this and nobody hits the pin.
Yeah. It was painful and funny.
I was just wondering.
But again,
what-
we don't do all. It's also one of the things that we don't do all games for all things.
Right.
So, in the TNT book, you probably still have beanbag rap.
No, we don't have beanbag grab, but we do have the equivalent of a knock it down game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Which is the next-
An optional event.
And I loved beanbag grab.
I liked
I miss
beanbag
it.
grab too, but it was getting a little rough again. They were starting to play it like they played it in the 60s when I was a kid. You know, where you went in there and you laid into them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason why we dropped beanbag grab. I like the beanbag bonanza because it's more of a team game.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, one thing I just was reminded of was water bottles, okay?
Yes.
You don't really need them, okay? So, you know, none of these games are so long, we're not asking them to run a 10K or anything like that, so they shouldn't be, you know, just so parched that they can't manage it. There's a drinking fountain not too far away. I think it's in the gym or something, or in the hallway.
It's in the hallway.
If it truly, somebody has to get a drink, okay, fine, there's a drinking fountain. But having the water bottles on the floor, we take the risk of spillage and then somebody slipping, and then it's a liability thing. So we just ask that you don't do the water bottles. I mean, mom or dad can have a water bottle right there in the stand and give it to little Tommy, and then he can take a swig if it has to happen. All right, are we good? Is there any other things?
The only other thing too is that if there is a medical situation, like kid is diabetic, brittle diabetic, and we have to know about it or whatever, just let us know so that we don't, and if it turns out that if the kid, if there's a brittle diabetic has to have whatever, if there's a medical reason, yes. Also, if it turns out that you have the 2 coaches on the floor, you have a special needs child that needs to have additional assistance, we will, and if you need 3 people to assist the 1 kid to participate.
Well, one thing on that, we've had kids in wheelchairs play the Sparky Safari. I mean, a sibling was pushing them around. I mean, it's fantastic. And even with Truck Journey or TNT, we've had kids do beanbag relay, and they're in a wheelchair.
So, yeah, if it turns out that there's a kid who has a specific need that needs to have a one-on-one helper, we don't count that as the coach, we count that as a one-on-one helper. We're not going to limit in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to get more specifics, but that's where we're at. If it also turns out that you have an individual thing that's coming up there, you have to, not so much for here, because if you pull a covey up to be in the games, if you want to see how much grace we can have, you can be amazed how much grace we can have, especially at the Sparkies. Now, if it turns out that your Sparky pulls up into TNT, they have to play by the TNT rules because we do have that into there. So that, but that's because it's TNT and not Sparks.
But if they are a Sparky and they get pulled up into TNT, they can't be on the Sparky team also, can they?
Oh, yeah,
They only do one of them. They could do both events.
If you wanted to, you could put a Sparky onto a Trek and Journey team. I don't think it would do very well.
No, I just,
But,
they could be on both events, okay?
Yeah.
I thought they
Because
could.
we don't want you to be short players,
Right,
all right? We want you to have the full team and to have, you know, because your kids have more fun that way.
sure.
As opposed to you walking out there with 7 kids.
Running them to death.
TNT when you had a Sparky team where you could just pull some 7th graders in. So,
Yeah.
so I think we got all of our questions for the main group. Why don't we end in prayer? If you got any more, we've got a few minutes for the next session.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this chance to gather. We thank you for how you are moving in Awana. We thank you for how you are working with these coaches with the one-on-one. We do pray for the memories the kids are forming with the event, and I pray that we'll be able to build them an excitement and help them to be able to have the energy to continue through the book the next year. God, we pray in precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.